Hey guys, Emily Weber here. Thank you so much for joining me for this full-length Pilates Reformer class where we're going to be focusing on spinal flexibility and mobility. So to begin class, I have my headrest down because we are going to start off with a little bit of bridging, and I have my footwork springs on. For myself personally, I use my 4 heaviest springs. That's 3 heavies, 1 medium. On my machine, that's 3 green, 1 red. Let's go ahead and begin class. Lying on our back. We want to find a nice neutral spine with a nice flat sacrum, the tiny lift in the tip top of our hips to our low ribs, and our shoulder blades nice and flat on the mat. My feet are about sits bones distance apart to begin class. It's very narrow. My knees are tracking over my big toe and my legs are in a perfect number 11. I'm going to platform my arms down by my side. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to inhale, exhale, and just use my abdominals to imprint my entire spine on the mat or place my entire spine on the carriage. From there, I'm going to come up and release my tail to neutral for a little counter exercise. So I have a little lift in my low back. I'm going to come back to neutral and use my abs to imprint my spine. Release back to neutral and do a little tuck as if I'm driving my tailbone to the back of my head. Neutral, exhale, imprint. We're going to do 3 of each bridge here. Neutral, and tilt. And now we're going to imprint our spine and squeeze our glutes to lift our tail so that we're at the backs of our ribs. The backs of our ribs are connected to the mat. If you're pressing the carriage away, really bring the heels to the tip top of the foot bar. And come back down. With the heavier springs, now lift to the tuck where your tail's lift, where your tailbone's lifted off. With the heavier springs, it's easier to access the glutes here than use too much hamstring at the beginning of class. Go ahead and imprint and tuck and lift. Now go ahead and come back down through the imprint through neutral. We're going to reach our hands back and find our 12th rib. It's pretty low, right? It's pretty low, right above the hip. That's where we're going to roll up to now that we've gone through the tuck. So we're going to imprint, tuck, roll up to the 12th rib. Find that nice glute connection. Now come down to the tuck, find the imprint, and come back to neutral. Now imprint your spine with your abs, squeeze your glutes to tuck and lift your tailbone, and roll up to the 12th rib. Now roll down to the tuck, come down to the imprint, and come back to neutral. One more, guys. Imprint, tuck, 12th rib, roll down or articulate down to the tuck, find the neutral, and release back. Find the imprint, release back to neutral. Sorry. Now we're going to roll up, or we're going to articulate up to a shoulder bridge. So we're going to have a nice open collarbone, and our shoulders are going to be nice and flat on the mat. So imprint, tuck, 12th rib, articulate up to the shoulder blades. Really squeezing the glutes here, guys, right? Now articulate down to the 12th rib, find the tuck, find imprint, release to neutral. And imprint, tuck, 12th rib, shoulder bridge, and 12th rib, tuck, imprint, neutral. And this next one, we're going to stay up and do some marching or one-legged work. So imprint, tuck, 12th rib, shoulder blades, bring the left leg to tabletop and lower. Bring the right leg to tabletop. Make sure your hips are, look down at your hips. And left leg, and lower. Squeeze those glutes, right leg, and exhale left leg, inhale to lower. Exhale right leg, inhale to lower. Exhale left, inhale to lower. Exhale right, inhale to lower, and left, and lower, and right, and lower. Now articulate down to the 12th rib, find the tuck, find the imprint, come to neutral, slide your heels down so they're pressing into the foot bar in the parallel number 11 position with our knees tracking over our big toes, and press the carriage out on the inhale, and exhale back in, and inhale to press, and exhale back in. See if you can find the same glute work here. So we're really driving through the glutes and the back of the leg because we're starting from the heels first. So let's find that same work here as well. Two more. some more heel work, and then we're going to come to the balls of the feet. We're going to be using the front of the legs and the quads a little bit more. So go ahead and turn your legs out to a Pilates V. Slide your heels out wide to the outside edges of the foot bar. Squeeze those glutes strongly in this position and make sure that your legs aren't flopping out to the side. You really want to retain some integrity on the inner thigh and keep some squeeze there as well as you press out and come back in. Think of rotating the femur and the hip socket here and squeezing a lot of glute to keep that knee tracking over the big toe. And that's going to protect your knee. Inhale and exhale to come back in. Inhale to add the air, and when you come in, exhale the air to release it. Here's 6. Good. And 7. And 8. And 9. And 10. Now, let's work the front of the legs. I'm sick of working the back, right? We're going to come to a Pilates V position with our toes on the foot bar and our heels off. Our heels are squeezed together, our toes are apart. We're rotating the femur in the hip socket, and we're tracking our knee over our big toe. We're not popped up in a high heel position yet. We're somewhere between a flexed foot and a high heel though. We're going to keep our feet in this same area in space as we press out and come back in. Now inhale out, and as you inhale out, really rotate the femur in the hip socket. But as you release back in, still keep rotating the femur in the hip socket. Inhale and exhale. Now, if you want to exhale on the way out and inhale on the way in, that's great. Please don't stop breathing, but use a breath pattern, right? Think of wrapping that muscle from the inside of the knee to the outside of the hip as you press. 2 more. One more. Now, slide your feet wide to the Pilates V, but in a forced arch or demi-point position where you're fully extending up to a high heel or Las Vegas showgirl shoe position. We're going to keep our heels lifted this high the whole time. If you're on the bar, slide in slightly. So we're going to do some heel lower lifts here. So we're going to inhale to press out. Squeeze those glutes at the top and think of tweezing the sits bones, and then exhale to come back in. But the whole time we're still thinking of rotating that femur in the hip socket and really working the turnout muscles or hip muscles, right? Here's 4, maybe 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, good, 9. Now on 10, stay out at the top. We're going to lower both heels under and squeeze it back up at the top. Again, guys, the whole time I'm rotating the femur in the hip socket, really working those turnout muscles, but now I'm also really tweezing the sits bones and thinking of narrowing the pelvis. Keep those abs nice and wide across from hip to hip, wrapping the ribs, nice wide shoulder blades. Here's 9. And on 10, we're going to stay up. Now we're going to trot here in a turnout. So really squeeze the feet, rotate the femur in the hip socket, and lower the left heel under as the right knee tracks over the big toe and bends. And lift. Now lower and bend the left knee over the big toe as the right heel goes under, and lift. And switch. Lift and switch. Lift and switch. And both heels up. And then drop the opposite heel and both heels up. Drop the opposite and both lift. And opposite and both lift. Here's 5. And 6. Here's 7. This is a little harder than the traditional trotting because it's just a different movement, just a little bit. Just maybe not what you're used to in taking class from me. My trainer Katie likes to do this one a lot. Now, drop both heels under. Stay there for just a second and feel that release in the muscle that you were just working. Now lift back up and bend the knees to resist the carriage back in. Slide your feet to parallel and squeeze your legs together in the center. We have been working with our feet separated right under the sit bones. Here we're going to squeeze our legs all the way together. Really narrow the pelvis. Don't think of squeezing the glutes. And press out and in. And out and in. And inhale and exhale. This is, even though this is the furthest that you're stretching the springs from the attachment point, it's still a relief to do this exercise after doing the trotting and the wide Pilates feet. Here's 9 and 10. Now press it out, drop both heels under, and think of like pedaling your feet almost. So I'm releasing the left leg. I'm releasing the right leg by bending the knee, but then I'm going to press the right leg down and bend the left leg so that the right leg can get a really nice stretch. Drop both heels under, leaving both heels under. Resist the spring tension back in. Extend the legs long over the foot bar. We're going to do 6 roll-ups here. So we've really been working the bottom part of the body. Now we're going to work on the articulation from the tip top of the head first. And while we bend over our legs, we're going to get a nice stretch. My feet are in a Pilates position, squeeze together. My fingers are coming out of my sternum 12th rib. I'm going to inhale. And then exhale to reach over my legs. Try to reach your biceps up by your ears and keep your legs straight the whole time. If you have trouble with that, go ahead and micro bend your legs, but don't hang on with behind your knees on the foot bar and pull yourself up. Then I'm going to inhale back and exhale down. Guys, we have 4 more. And on this 6th one, we're going to get a nice stretch in there. Inhale back, halfway there, exhale down. Scooch away from the shoulder blocks if you find them rubbing a little bit too much. Something else that I find that helps me is that I don't lift my hands past my sternum 12 from towards my nose so I can keep a nice rib connection. I find that when my ribs start to flare, I lose a lot of control on my curl up and articulation. Final one, guys, we're going to change the spring tension at the top. Now, reach for your feet and hold on. Think of pulling back with your low abs and taking a couple of nice deep breaths across your ribs in the back. Go ahead and point and flex your feet if you'd like. Oh, what a nice release, right? Go ahead and bend your knees slightly. We're going to change our spring tension here if you're able to. If not, bring your legs to the side and come up to change your spring tension. We're going to change it to a semicircle spring tension. We're going to be doing a modified semicircle here. That is 1 medium, 1 light on my machine. That 1 red, 1 blue. So extend your legs long, tuck your tail, articulate back. Place your feet back in the high-heeled position, but in a frog, so your knees are tracking over your big toe. So Pilates feet, high heel. We're going to place our hands back on our shoulder blocks or our pegs. We're going to keep the spring tension. We're going to keep the carriage in at the bumper. So this is going to require a lot more hamstring than we worked at the beginning of the class, but we've already done footwork and we've done the roll-ups to warm up our hamstrings. If you feel our hamstrings start to catch at any time, lift your legs to the ceiling, walk your hands at the backs of your legs for a hamstring stretch. Inhale, exhale, find that imprint, tuck, 12th rib, shoulders. Now press your legs out long. You might not be able to straighten your legs all the way without lowering your body slightly, no problem. Now tuck your tail, articulate down. To do this, I have to have a micro bend in my legs, otherwise my spine won't articulate down, it's a flat back. Now pull yourself back into the carriage by bending at the knees, using your hamstrings. Imprint, tuck, 12th rib, shoulders, press out, 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 out. Squeeze those glutes to stay up. Articulate down and pull yourself back in. Articulate up, keeping the carriage under the bumper, and then press out. And articulate down and come in. Now we're going to reverse, guys. So press the carriage out, keeping your spine on the mat. Now begin to imprint, tuck your tail, 12th rib, shoulder blades, pull yourself in by hamstring curling, and then articulate down to 12th rib, tuck, imprint, neutral. Press out with your back flat on the carriage. Imprint, tuck, 12th rib, shoulder blades, pull it in, articulate down. One more, press it out, articulate up, pull it in. Don't flare at your ribs here, guys. Make sure your ribs and hips are connected, and down. From here, you can scoot yourself to the end of your carriage. Don't fall off. And really start to pull your legs out wide like a little chicken. If you don't have any hip problems, you can hold onto the outsides of your foot bar. And really try to get a nice release here. You look like a weird little thing. Maybe like a little bow on a package. Pull yourself back. We're going to roll to the side and come up to sitting up tall. We're going to lose our light spring. So we're going to have one medium spring or one bread spring on. We're going to face the back towards the uprights. Our headrest should still be down, but if you brought it up at any time, please go ahead and lower it. We're going to place our legs through the carriage. If you need to, please stack one leg on top of the other. And please make sure that you have a hand's width, at least between your tail and the end of the carriage. Go ahead and pick up your hand straps and go ahead and bring your hands together so your knuckles are touching in the center. It doesn't have to be the top of the knuckles, just bring your knuckles to touch, right? Sit up nice and tall. Don't arch your back. Now leaving your arms with the same exact bend they have. Don't straighten or bend them any further. Tuck your tail. When you tuck, drive the carriage under you by increasing your tuck and come up to sitting up tall. That means don't just lean back to move the carriage. See how when I tuck, I can move the carriage? I'm going to tuck, and then I'm going to articulate and move the carriage with my tail. And articulate back up. Tuck and move the carriage. And up. Let's do two more. Tuck and move the carriage. And one more. Good. Now, tuck and come to a C-shaped curve. Now pull your hands into a sternum 12th rib and come back out to the hugged tree style arm position where your knuckles are touching. And pull it back in. Imagine tweezing the bottom tips of your shoulder blades while you're doing this, as if you're trying to crack a walnut between the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. The hardest part about this exercise is not changing the C-shaped curve. One more. And articulate back up to sitting up tall. Tuck your tail, move the carriage forward. Keep the C-shaped curve. Now open your arms to hug a tree and pull them back in. When you open your arms, you'll move the carriage a little bit more. Don't crunch your collarbone as you come in and out. Really feel this across the backs of the shoulder blades. If this is too heavy for you, please consider dropping to one blue. Now articulate back up. Good job, guys. Bring your arms to a 90-degree bend position. See if you can almost hinge forward ever so gently. It's a nice hamstring stretch. Now we're going to flat back, hinge back, leaving our arms exactly where they are. Lift up tall, tall, tall. Squeeze your glutes to sit up. And flat back, hinge back. My elbows are not right here, like really in front of my shoulder blades. They're in line with my uprights, guys. If you have more narrow uprights, try to bring them a little wider, right? So that you can really feel, you'll know when your arms are in the right position because you'll feel nice and wide across the collarbone and nice and wide across the shoulder blades. Now, flat back, hinge back, stay there, and And lift your arms up, hopefully biceps by your ears, go further back and lower. And lift. Here's 3. Don't arch your back. Here's 4. And 5. Sit up tall. Reach your arms in front of you. Now guys, just like we did on Hug a Tree, we're leveling up Hug a Tree. If this is too heavy for you, please drop to 1 blue. We're going to be doing T-arms. So my fingers are holding the straps here, but when I come out to the side, my thumbs are going to take over, my fingers are going to be free. And I'm going to come forward, my fingers are going to take back over. Then my thumbs are going to take over. So I'm just transferring the weight, right? Here's 3. My straps are shorter, so if you find that this isn't, your straps are too long, choke up on your straps. Here's 4, and here's 5. Let's add a rotation side bend with the T-pull. So we're going to break it down first. We're going to T-pull, and we're going to come flat back and lean as we rotate. Now come back up to center. Now come to the T and flat back and lean and reach. My arms are in a T, guys. And come back up. Now T and flat back, lean. And come back up. And T and flat back, lean. Don't allow your back to arch. Let's try to add it all together for the last 2, or 3. And reach. It feels a lot nicer when you add it all together. And reach. Don't go back so far that you fall off your machine, right? And reach. You should really feel a lot of pressure on your lower arm. Last set, best set, guys. Reach. And rotate and reach. Good. Come back up. Peg your, or actually don't peg your straps for a moment. Actually, I'm sorry, yes, peg your straps. And fold over your legs. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. We're still breathing into that low back, into those back ribs. Now find your straps. Articulate up. We're going to scooch in towards our shoulder blocks. Depending on your height, if you're terribly tall, you might want to do this exercise on the floor with weights and hold the weights with your palms up so that you don't get it too much into creeping up into your shoulder. But I'm going to scooch in as close as I can, bringing my glutes to my my shoulder blocks. My toes are hanging off the end of my headrest, but my knees are bent here. I can't sit up tall because I'm pretty tight, right? I'm going to inhale, exhale, tuck my tail, articulate back as slowly as I can, and eventually my weight will grab me, right? From there, I'm going to bring one leg to tabletop, other leg to tabletop. Don't rest your head back in the springs, in the well. If you have long hair, they could get caught in the springs, right? I'm going to reach my arms out long. My palms are down. Inhale, exhale, curl up a little deeper, and extend my legs to working level. From here, we're going to begin pumping. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. If you're looking for a little bit more weight, choke up on your straps. It's a little harder to reach through here because you don't have as much of a pull on your springs. So I feel a lot of jerking personally. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's almost like using the straps on a horse, but it is a little different. It is going to hit your body a little different. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your inner thighs. Don't crunch your chin to your chest. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze your legs together. Point or flex your feet, whatever you like. 2 more sets. Squeeze under the arms, draw the ribs together. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. Articulate up. As you place your feet down, so roll up as you place your feet down. Peg your straps. Keep your feet on the headrest. Push yourself back slightly, but not so far that you fall off the back of your carriage. Open your knees to a diamond, whatever size diamond you can find. If you're not uncomfortable in the carriage, please feel free to come to the floor next to the carriage. Now, round over your legs. Breathing into the back again. Different kind of stretch on the legs now. Take your hands to the insides of your legs and thread your hands underneath to the outsides of your legs, palms down. Don't hang on to your legs. Fold over your legs. We're going to take a couple nice deep breaths here. Good job, guys. Here's 3. Here's 4. And here's 5. Now, unthread your hands first. Now articulate yourself up to sitting up tall. Good job, guys. The first thing we're going to do now is come off to the side. We're going to find a sticky mat. Make sure that you have a hand's width from the end of your carriage to your sticky mat. We're going to be doing stomach massage, modified stomach massage. We are going to do it with a box today so that we can make sure that we're not using our back in a funny sort of way, right? We want to make sure, we want to use the box as tactile feedback on our back. So I've placed the box, I've pressed it back. I'm going to place 2 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light spring on for the first 2 exercises in stomach massage. On my machine, that's 2 green, 1 red, 1 blue. Please use whatever you're comfortable with in stomach massage. Myself personally, I change the springs after the first 2 exercises. I have lowered my foot bar to accommodate my body because I do like my foot bar, I do like to be a little closer to my machine. Now, when I come to sitting on the foot bar and on the machine, I am going to have to press away the machine slightly from the bumper. I'm going to place my feet in Pilates V, and I'm going to sit up tall. If you find this is too close to the bumper, even if you've adjusted your foot bar, please take your box and place it over the shoulder blocks. I'm going to make sure that my sacrum is flat on the box, so my tailbone and my hip bones. From there, I'm going to reach up and around my legs. I'm going to find the front part of my carriage. I'm going to press in with mainly my middle 3 fingers and look down at my springs. From there, I'm going to press out on 1, adjusting my body as I need to because it was a little off center. Lower my heels on 2, staying in a C-shaped curve the whole time. So I'm looking down at my knees. Lift up on 3 and come in at 4. So in the C-shaped curve, I'm going to press out on 1. Lower on 2, press into the carriage, up on 3. When I press into the carriage with the rounded position, I really have to round forward anyways for it to be comfortable. We want a continuous curve from the tip top of our head down to our tailbone. Here's 5, we're going to 8. Here's 6. Squeeze, 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 near the pelvis. Here's 7. And here's 8. Now come back in, reach your arms up and around, and with the pinky blade edge, so the pinky blade edge of your forearms. So my palms are facing the front slightly. I'm squeezing down on the bottom tips of my shoulder blades, and I'm going to press out on 1. I have a flat back position here, so my back should not be moving away from the box down, nor should it be shoving in awkwardly at the top edge of the box. I'm really drawing my ribs together, and I'm still using that same 4 count exercise. So out on 1, lower the heels on 2, lift on 3, and in on 4. Here's 5. Squeeze under the arms strongly to keep your shoulders away from your ears, and look straight ahead. Here's 7. And here's 8. Now come all the way back in, reach down, and take off 1 heavy spring. On my machine now, I only have 1 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light on. From there, I'm going to lift my arms up, hopefully so my biceps are by my ribs, or by my ears, but if I have to bring them slightly in front or right in front, that's fine. But if we have the capacity with no shoulder injuries, we'd like to bring them up and just press out on 1 and in on 2. And here's out on 1, in on 2. Here's 3. Still think of narrowing the sits bones at the top. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Come all the way in, reach your arms in front of you, and open to the left. Rotating, trying to reach back to the upright and come forward. And now go to the right. Reach back towards the upright and come forward. Now I'm going to leave my right arm where it is as my left arm reaches back, and my right hip is not going to shift on the box. So my left arm is going to stay where it is. My right arm is going to reach back. My left hip is not going to shift. And rotate and reach. Think of wringing out a washcloth. And reach. And think of rotating from the belly button up. From the belly button below stays completely still. And one more. Now, place your hands in between your feet and walk your feet to the outside of the foot bar. The more hamstring stretch you want, the more your toes should be on the foot bar. And when you press yourself away and hold on to the foot bar, drive your heels under the foot bar. One more breath. Now begin to articulate up as you bring the carriage in. Don't bring the carriage in all the way though. Start to walk your feet to one side and step off. You are crunched because of the box. Bring your box to the long box position for swan and pulling straps 1 and 2. I'm going to bring my foot bar back up. I'm going to have one medium spring on for these next couple of exercises. On my machine, that's 1 red. So from there, I'm going to place one hand on the foot bar, other hand on the foot bar, swing one leg up, the other leg up. I'm at the edge of the box is where I'm resting my sternum or 12th rib, or my bra strap for those of us that wear bras. I'm looking down at the floor. My hands are wide on the foot bar, like a number 11, and I'm pressing in the foot bar with the meaty part of my hand. I'm squeezing with my inner thighs, drawing my abs up and in, wrapping my ribs together, and squeezing my glutes to make my thighs light. We don't want to tent at the hips, guys, okay? I'm going to press out on 1. Now with straight arms, I'm going to pull up into a swan on 2. Again, I want a continuous curve from the tip top of my head out through my tail and feet. Press out on 3 and in on 4. Out on 1. Lift up, 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 up. On 2. Out on 3 and in on 4. If my low back is hurting me, the first thing I'm going to do is squeeze my belly button to my spine even closer. If that did not work on that exercise, I'm going to leave my belly button close to my spine and I'm going to squeeze my legs all the way together. It will decrease the mobility in my back, but it will alleviate the back pain. And here's 5. And come all the way back in. Now, one foot off to the side, other foot off, one hand, other hand. We're going to go to the back and do pulling straps 1 and 2 before we do some long stretch series. So, one hand on the corner of the box, other hand on the corner, lift one leg, lift the other leg. If you're here and you're like, depending on your machine, but odds are your legs, if you've activated your lower half of your body, your legs should not touch the foot bar. If you find that your legs are touching the foot bar, go ahead and bring your legs to a frog for me and lift up from the glutes, inner thighs, and hamstrings to activate your legs. Otherwise, we're going to take our straps, put them on our wrists like bracelets, choke up on our straps until we can reach down and rest our knuckles on top of the frame, and then bring them to the side. Because we don't want to drag our knuckles across the top of the frame, right? Now imagine, I'm going to adjust, sorry, so I can hold on my heels. Imagine that you are dipping your hands down, down, down into the water, and as you pull them up, you're going to lift up and do a tiny back extension. You're looking at no higher than at the back inside And then inside of the back of your reformer, and lower back down to neutral. Dipping your hands back in the water. Now reach down, 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 and lift. Look in the back side of your, or the back inside of your reformer, and lower. And squeeze it back. Tweeze those bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Open up the collarbones, and lower. And squeeze back. Just like stomach massage, we're going to 8. We're halfway there. 5. Draw that belly button up and in. 6. Squeeze under the arms. Reach those legs long. Shoot energy out of them. 2 more. Now on 8, stay back and we're going to do tricep presses. Now bend at the elbows and straighten. If your reformer is bouncing around, use control. Don't let the reformer control you. You control the reformer. So don't use momentum. Now, release your hands back down. Don't release your legs. Go ahead and take your hands out of the straps. Find your loops or your hooks. Put your thumb in them like a thumb ring. Hook your thumb around the ring. Put your palms flat towards the ground. And reach your hands back as you lift up. Now, come back out to the T. Fly your wings down. Flap your wings. Palms down the whole time. And open. Imagine you're sliding your hands along the top of a table on either side. Here's 4. The more you squeeze under your arms, the more you'll be out of your neck. Here's 6. Here's 7. Now 1 more. Now stay up at the top. Flip your palms towards your body and out and in for 1, 2. Imagine you're squeezing an orange under your arm. I don't know who's going to want to drink that orange juice, but flip the palm down and open it back out. Release your arms. Repeg the straps. Come off to the side carefully with control. Place your box down. We are going to use it for the end of class. We will not be requiring your sticky mat again though. We are going to place 1 spring on to go with our medium spring. We're going to have 1 medium, 1 red, 1 medium, 1 light spring on. That's 1 red, 1 blue spring on. So I'm going to place my hand on the foot bar that's closest to my body. Reach across the reformer, place my other hand on. I'm going to tuck my toes, place my heel against the shoulder block, and press my leg out long. And swing my other leg up to meet it. I'm going to find a plank position where my shoulders are over my wrists. I'm drawing my belly button up towards my spine, and I'm squeezing everything in together. Now let's do long stretch, where we press ourselves away from the foot bar and pull ourselves back under by sawing our arms. We're not changing the position of our body, but we are moving in the shoulder joint, or the shoulder socket. So really squeeze under the arm and wrap the ribs to pull yourself back across. 1 more. Come back into the plank position. Drop your knees. Squeeze your glutes to bring your hips forward in a long line. Now, show your necklace. So we're just doing a tiny little chest lift. Now keeping the same body position, press back and pull up. You shouldn't be feeling this in your low back, but if you are, come straight to a flat back plank position instead of the tiny chest lift. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. Now, stand at the bumper. Begin to press your hips back and lift yourself up into a pike position. You're in your toes, and your heels are pressed up against the shoulder block. The first thing that we're going to do is the up stretch. So, we're going to do this with articulation. So we're going to squeeze our glutes to press the carriage away. Now imagine a marble's traveling up your spine, and it'll go down, 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 down your spine, through your shoulders. The last thing to pop up will be your head. Saw the arms, just like in long stretch, to come back to the plank position. Now drop your head first, and articulate back to pressing your hips back for the articulation to travel all the way down your tail. Now to press out, it's going to go through your tail, and it's going to travel down to your head. Pull across for the plank, drop your head, articulate all the way through your tail. Now this tail travels down, down, down to the head. Pull across for the plank, drop the head, articulate it for the tail. 2 more. Squeeze your glutes and press out. Heads up last. Come all but looking down to the ground. Pull the way across, drop your head to look down at your feet or your carriage, articulate up. 1 more. Squeeze your glutes and press out, 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 out. Head last. Come in. Now head will go first. And articulate up. Now guys, we have 5 of the up down stretch. It is a saw or is a swan in a plank position. So if you had trouble with down stretch, please just continue to do the up stretch or find a nice stretch that you would like to do right now. Otherwise, we are going to flat back pike, press out. From there, I'm going to pull up into a swan position where my shoulders are over my wrists. I'm still supported on top, so I'm not sinking down, right? I'm still squeeze, squeeze, squeezing. Then I'm going to press back out and pike at the hips. Pike at the hips to a plank or a long stretch. Pull across to a pike or a plank swan position. Press back at a long stretch and then pike at the hips. You can do this in articulation, but since we just did so much articulation in the up stretch, we're just piking for this one. 1 more. Pike at the hips, the long stretch. We're just doing the necklace lift like in down stretch, guys. Press out to pike, or out to plank, and pike. Now, walk your feet flat in front of the shoulder blocks and lift your toes up so that you have equal weight behind your big toe, at your baby toe, and in your heel. Now, round up like you've just been punched in the stomach and look in at your knees or thighs and press the carriage out and come back under. We'd like to have our biceps by our ears, pressing away from the foot bar. Don't allow your heels to lift while you're doing this. Imagine you're getting punched in the stomach as the carriage comes back in. So round even harder, right? Let's do 1 more. Now, press back, press your hips back into a flat back position. If you have hip replacement, please do not do this exercise. And then we're going to press back and saw our hips back under. And press back and saw our hips under. Again, our biceps are by our ears. I do feel a pretty nice hamstring stretch here. Good. Here's 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I'm going to walk my feet to one side of the carriage without releasing my hands. Step off with my foot closest to the edge. Bring the other foot off. Release one hand, release the other hand. I have the perfect springs on for bridging, guys. Whew. So I'm going to go ahead and come down. My headrest is still down, so I don't need to adjust it for bridging. But if you have adjusted your headrest, please drop it for bridging. We're going to do bridging on our toes. So if you find this is too much for you, go ahead and drop the arches of your feet. So we're on 1 red, 1 blue. We did the same spring tension for a semicircle we wore on the balls for our feet then. We're starting with our feet in a wide Pilates V position to begin, because I think it's easier to find articulation from here. We're going to inhale, exhale, imprint, tuck, 12th rib, shoulder blades. Squeeze those glutes, right? And articulate back down, finding all of those positions. We've been working on it all class, right? Imprint, tuck, 12th rib, shoulders. Now roll down to 12th rib, tuck, imprint, neutral. On this next one, we're going to add on, articulate up and press out. Don't allow your ribs to flare here. Allow your hips to drop slightly so you can keep that rib to hip connection and that glute connection. We have 2 more. We're going to do 5. For some reason, 5 is my number today other than 8. I don't know why. They're weird 2 numbers to have. Now keep the carriage into the bumper, articulate down. Now instead of coming back to the Pilates V frog position like we have been doing in class, let's go ahead and come to the sits bone number 11, knees tracking over our big toe, but on the ball of our feet. We're going to find the imprint from here. It'll be a little embarrassing on my end. I love to press out from the carriage here. So I'm going to imprint, tuck, 12th rib, shoulder blades. Oop, watch your ribs, watch your hips. Now 12th rib, tuck, imprint, neutral. We have 3. So go ahead and find the articulation up. You're driving your knees over the big toe and articulate down. This is really hard for a lot of people, including myself here in parallel to find this. And now we're going to press out. Still keeping that connection and pull back in. A lot of hamstring curl here, right? Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. Keep that rib to hip connection. And here's 5. Keep it into the bumper. Articulate down. Come to the side. I have to change my straps personally to foot straps. We are going to be doing some feet and straps. A nice ending stretch. And then we're going to be done, guys. Let's go ahead and keep our headrest down because we are going to be doing short spine. This is a spinal articulation class. So if you're a person who really enjoys their headrest, this one might be a little bit harder. I'm going to press out with both legs. I'm going to bend my right leg in and find my foot strap. Press my leg out long so I can bend my left leg in to find my foot strap. From there, I'm going to come into a nice little frog. My tailbone's heavy. I don't want to tuck and frog, right? I want a nice neutral spine here. I can come in as much as I can with a nice neutral spine. Now press out and keep your feet as low as you can. If you're like, oh my gosh, this frog is so amazing and it feels so nice and this is the best way to end class, we're still working. So lower your feet. Find the neutral spine. Make your abs work for you. If you've just been doing footwork this whole time and thinking that feels amazing, you're really cheating yourself. Let's not cheat ourselves anymore, guys. Let's keep going. Now, stay out there, point your feet and open, and squeeze your legs together at the same time. They should touch the mat at the same time. Don't allow them to hit, click, click. Lower your feet a little bit. Now, flex your feet and open and close for 5. And here's 4. And 3. And here's 2. I'm not gonna lie, it still feels really nice to be in straps right now. And 1. Now, bend your legs into a frog and extend them up to the ceiling. Working in parallel first, we're gonna lower our legs and lift them back up. Here's 5. Now, when I did that first time, I noticed that I popped into my back on the left side. So what I'm really gonna do is try to ground through my back on that side. Or don't go down as far if you can't get out of it today, right? And here's 4. Good, 1 more. And then we're gonna turn out to Pilates V and continue from there. So we're doing parallel to Pilates V today as opposed to pointing and flexing our feet. Turn it out to a Pilates V and lower and lift for 5. Here's 4. 3. 2. And 1. Now keep your legs at the top turned out. We're going to open and down and squeeze together and lift. Open and lower, squeeze together and lift. Nice and slow, open and lower, squeeze together and lift. 1 more and open and lower, squeeze together and lift. Now we're going to reverse. We're going to lower and open. Resist the spring tension up and squeeze your legs together, that double bouncing. And lower and open and lift and squeeze. I always want to click my heels at the top. Oh man, today's my double click day at the top. But see if you can eliminate that. One more. We're gonna do short spine and then our final stretch, guys. So, bend your feet back into a frog. Scoot yourself away from your shoulder blocks. If you lifted your headrest, please lower it. Platform your arms by your side. Extend your legs out in a frog. Do the double leg lower lift up. Now squeeze your glutes and articulate up to a shoulder bridge. Bend your knees into a high frog with your knees tracking over your shoulder blocks. And now articulate down. If you want a hamstring stretch, because we've done a lot of bridging, leave your feet where they are in space and don't pull them down with you. And you'll feel a nice hamstring stretch. Now, hamstring curl, just like we did on the bridging, in and out to bring your feet back down. Press out in the frog, lift like the double leg lower lift. Squeeze your glutes to articulate up. Imagine almost that you're in an elephant type position. Bend your knees into a high frog and articulate down, leaving your feet in the space that they are in without moving your feet straps, your, what are these things called? Ropes. Articulate up and bend. It also feels really nice to bring your feet down with you. So if that's what you choose to do, that's great. My hamstrings, we're just feeling it a little bit. This is our last one. Exhale all the air out and articulate down and bring your feet down with you. Now extend your right leg. Take your left leg out of the strap. Peg it and go ahead and bend that right leg until your left leg can find the foot bar. Take that right leg out, peg it. Go ahead and come in, roll to the side, come up to standing up tall. Let's go ahead and find our long backs one more time for that final exercise. I'm going to place one light spring on. So I'm going to take my medium off. I'm going to leave one blue on. You can drop your foot bar one level, or you can bring it all the way down if you'd like for this exercise. I'm going to come stand pretty close to the foot bar. It's right here, which is why I suggest that you only drop it one, in case you need a little bit of assistance. But the best we can do, we're going to bring our foot around and place it on the box. Now, since my standing foot is in Pilates V, my foot on the box is also in Pilates V. My heels, if I were to bring them down, are going to be lined up right next to each other as if I was standing still in Pilates V. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale my arms up and exhale, rounding over, bringing my hands to the sides of the box. Now, I'm going to press my foot out long, driving my heel down and fold over my leg. And bend it back in. And drive it out long, bending over that leg. And bring it back in. Now, press it out long, leave the heel under, and now point and flex the foot for 3, 2, 1. Bend it back in. Stack your spine to come up tall. Bring the arms with you. Bring them down to your side. So if you need to grab your foot bar, you can. And then bring your heel around. Woo! It doesn't have to be the most graceful thing, guys. The last one was a little, I don't know what just happened there. So we're going to do the opposite side. So if you need your foot bar, it's there. So bring that leg around, around, around. Don't forget, I'm in a Pilates V on both feet. If I were to slide my box foot down, my heels would be lined up in a perfect Pilates V. Inhale my arms up. Exhale, dive down. Place my hands on either side of the box. Leaving my heel driving under, I'm going to press the carriage away. I'm trying to keep my hips square the whole time and pull it back in. And press away. Folding over my leg, feeling that nice stretch. Final one. Now press it away and stay there. And point the foot and flex the foot. And point the foot and flex the foot. And one more. Now bring it all the way back in. Bring your arms up. Bring them down so you can grab that foot bar. And bring your foot around to the side. Ooh, that way was much more graceful. I'm going to bring my feet to a Pilates V position. I'm going to inhale my arms up. Do a tiny little chest lift to show my necklace where the wall and the ceiling meet. And then I'm going to dive down, 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 placing my hands on either corner of the box. Without shoving my butt back to press the box away, I'm going to articulate down head first. As if I'm trying to do a cow. And I'm going to lift my tail up. Now I'm going to squeeze my tail and articulate up, but I'm not going to allow the box to shove me back. Now I'm in an angry cat. And I'm going to articulate down head first. Tail comes up last into cow. I feel a nice hamstring stretch here. A nice stretch across my pec and chest. Squeeze my glutes, tuck my tail, articulate up, head comes up last. Last one, best one, head goes down. Tail comes up last. Tail goes down. Head comes up last. Reestablish your balance. Lift your arms up, 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 up. Lift your necklace for the long side meet and lower your arms down to your side. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for that class. If you have any questions or need any modifications, please feel free to reach out, and I hope that you have a great day. Thank you.